up Xmithy's name quite a bit as one of the front runners, and he was the change for Immortals, which took them from being a 7th place team and missing playoffs last split to now adding Song and Xmithy to being in this position here in sole possession of first.
Well, 11-3 here for Immortals at the start of a week out. We'll see if they can maintain that record. Liquid still fighting for some of those safety spots, but maybe, just maybe, with their fingers crossed tightly, there is some hope towards playoffs. We'll see what happens here in the draft though. LeBlanc and Thresh banned by Liquid, followed by Zach and Nah, actually for Immortals. So already a lot of mix-ups, and again, these teams saw a lot of surprises, it felt like, in the last week, but teams have had extra time to adjust to the patch now, and we'll see exactly what's settled, because for me, this is one of the most fun patches I've ever had the privilege of casting on, because it is so diverse.
Yeah, there's so many different champions that can be played, and that's the thing is right now, blue-red side, it's kind of a fiasco. Nobody knows exactly what to ban. We saw Zach and Maokai make it through in the last series. We're seeing Maokai make it through here. With Nar banned away, I feel like you pick Maokai here, first pick is Team Liquid, and you flex it to either Darrock or Lorlo, and that's kind of the power of that Maokai first pick is they don't know exactly where it's going. If they pick some type of aggressive top laner, you don't have to play Maokai into that if you don't want.
Yep, and even if they do, sometimes it just doesn't matter. Maokai's such a strong pick on the current patch. Caitlyn and Elise did join those last bans for Liquid and Immortals respectively, but Maokai is the expected first pick and the lock in there for TL, so we'll see what Immortals want to do again. This has been a team that pretty much all split long has kind of done their own thing. They're actually going to pick Tristana first here, so maybe recognizing that some tank busting will be required. Cody's going to take that AD for himself.
Yeah, his second Tristana game so far of the split, mostly he's been favoring the utility like Varus and Jhin, as well as a little bit of the Caitlyn, which has been banned away here. And the Jarvan, also a flex pick. I feel like it's also a strong champion to pick up right here because it can go to both the top or the jungle, and we have seen it played by both players.
Yeah, it's actually Flame's second most played champion, but it's kind of funny that Xmithy has just taken it every single game so far. So again, with Maokai potentially up there, Flame might have a different pick in mind, but certainly lots of flexibility there for IMT. And now Liquid kind of have to answer these next few questions. Kalista will be one of their lock-ins here. Could maybe take away a strong support. We've seen a lot of teams actually target Ole very heavily in pick and ban, which is, I think, kind of a matter of pride for a lot of supports. It's not every day you eat 4 to 6 bans in any given champs like, but there's the Gragas, so that's been Dardock's most played. That's the jungle pick I expect here.
And it looks like they're actually, that's something where if Immortals were able to get Flame on the Jarvan, Xmithy's most played by a good margin here is the Gragas, almost twice as many plays as his next highest, but that's going to leave Immortals to know exactly where these lanes are going to go, and they're going to pick the Shen into the Maokai top. Shen historically beats the tanks in the top lane, and now he has some pressure, and as well as somebody to, you know, who's a late game carry in the Tristana to ulti, and he has a way, if they want to be aggressive, to ulti in on the Jarvan on top.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to think that a champion that felt almost unplayable in so many ways in the top lane versus those bruisers kind of feels right back at home now that there's nothing but tanks there on the top side. Orianna banned there for Immortals, so going to take that away from Golden Glue. Was one of the keys to Liquid's overall success was how they're able to play with very straightforward teamfight composition to just kind of do things the easy way. Orianna, a pick that can enable that sort of thing. And Golden Glue, despite not having the best results in the LCS so far, certainly showed enough individual skill to be like, yeah, this is a stable champion, I can definitely play it.
Yeah, another great stable champion for Golden Glue that's not exactly in the new tank meta is the Galio mid. He's actually, I believe, 2-0 on it, and he hasn't died on it either, so his KDA, I believe, is still undefined. Can't divide by 0. Just double checking it really quickly. But
yeah, I mean, his Galio games have earned him Player of the Game awards, even in a time where Liquid was struggling overall. So certainly been a good pick for him. Is Talia will get banned by Immortals also. So 2 mid lane bans actually aimed there at Golden Glue. Blitzcrank joins the crew though as the other hook champion banned away. Again, teams do like to target Ole and pick ban quite a lot, so we'll take away that aggressive option, and with 1 more to go, could even go for another support here or change it up as we move into phase 2 of picks. Liquid actually are going to go for that Bug, which is the pick I would expect Ole to fall down to, so going to be pushed 4 champions down at this point.
Yeah, but I feel like Ole's champion pool is so large. Alistar is something that's kind of come into the meta lately. Morgana is one that he always has. If you want to dominate the lane, you can go for the Karma. And oh, is this? Cassiopeia is still on the table, though. I wouldn't actually expect that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually going to save the counter pick for last there in mid lane. Looks like Lulu is the lock-in, so something to just help that Trist out. Of course, Lulu Jarvan, also lots to work for there as well. Immortals, they're a team that loves to pick fights, and they're very good at doing it. So
yeah,
lots of tools for them here.
And the Lulu is going to help out with Cody Sun, who's been an incredibly consistent player for them. Even when I check their losses, his score lines actually still look quite good. He actually has the highest KDA on the team at 4.9. Pobelter's right behind him at 4.7. And Cody-san has a very high kill participation as well. He actually has the highest KP on the team. So he is participating in the fights. He is not dying. And Cody-san is just being that backliner. But even on the champions that have that mid-range, and now they're setting up for success with a Protect Cody comp.
Yep, there's actually a Zyra there for Liquid, and last pick maybe something aggressive. It will be Lucian for Golden Glue. Kind of shoring up the two marksmen with two tanks. We've seen a lot of this style of comp, especially with the likes of a Disengage Ultimate. We've seen way more Janna than we might have expected. Zyra's kind of the aggressive version of that in some ways, but we'll see if that does maybe cause problems in the lane. We do know Piglet and Matt like to play aggressive, but it cost them in the last engagement between these two teams. Last pick is Cassio, though, to round it up for Pobelter, so taking the pretty straightforward pick there. Golden Glue had the option, but decided he didn't want it.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting because you could pick the Cassiopeia. The Orianna was already banned away, but having the counter pick for Pobelter, they decided to go for a very aggressive blind pick. And this composition from Team Liquid, very physical damage heavy, save for Matt, and then there's a little bit of percent HP magic damage there from Dardoch and a little bit from Lorlo, but it's mainly that physical damage, which you know Flame is going to start stacking, and so is Xmithie, as well as the range disparity here is kind of big. Cassiopeia keeps Lucian a little bit at arm's reach in that later part of the game, and then you have a tank line of the Shen and the Jarvan. It's going to be very difficult for TL, if this game goes long, to reach the Tristana, to reach the Cassiopeia, to kill them through these shields. Right now, Immortals are just looking to kind of double down on what's been working for them in terms of strengths, whereas TL, it looks like they're trying to crush the early game here and win bottom lane, as well as try to have a winning mid lane.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see Immortals, again, falling back to what we expect for them. For me, in the mid lane, I do like that Pobelter's on more of a carry. We've seen him on a lot of more enabling style champions, Orianna, Talia, those sorts of things, but he's also had a ton of Corki games recently as well, so it's not like Immortals are unwilling to put him on some sort of carry. And again, if tanks are going to be everywhere, if your entire top side is almost always consisting of 2 tanks minimum, then just get some solid carries in there. I think Immortals are showing a lot of what we'd expect in this sort of meta. If tanks are good, get the tank busting carries and get some tanks for yourself. And it's kind of funny that we're going all the way back from playmaking supports, kind of back to some of the defensive supports as well.
Yeah, now we're getting into the game right now. Immortals versus TL. And this is a matchup that coming in, a lot of people were like, oh, it's, top team versus a team that's outside of playoffs right now. But TL with the swap to Dardoch, this is something that I feel like you can't miss out on watching.
I don't think so. I mean, if nothing else, even though TL on paper are not favored against the current #1 team in the LCS, Dardoch is enough of a wild card in so many ways that it'll be fun to see what happens here. Back on Liquid in less than a split.
Yeah, their new old jungler, coming back to him. But I feel like he still has a lot of this synergy intact, right? He was best buds with Lorlo. There was that bromance. And then he always ganked for Piglet and Matt back in the Challenger days with TLA, back when it was, I believe it was Young Bin back on AD Carry then. But there was a stint where Piglet went to TLA instead of TL.
Kind of fun to see what happens here. Lorlo going to set up some early saplings. We've seen a lot of blue side power from Maokai for this exact reason, but Dardoch poking in, I think trying to spawn Xmithie, going to get a barrel down there, but Xmithie got this out.
Pobelter's wrapping around him right now.
Dardoch going to wall, but Pobelter actually going to get some damage down here. Corrupting pot start as well for the Cassio, so a good bit of damage done, but Dardoch won't be too unhealthy.
He does use a potion. Gragas does have a very healthy clear in general, and he's going to get a sapling. So the potion wouldn't mean as much as it normally does for other junglers. Like if you get a potion out of Jarvan early, it can be pretty big for him. But with the Gragas and the way that his jungle's been set up, I don't expect it to really put him too far off his route.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to think that only last week Dardoch matched up against Xmithie in against the same jungler. Xmithie has played a lot of Jarvan recently. Looks like Dardoch is off his Rengar kick for the time being.
Yeah, that's what Dardoch was doing. He wanted another go at Xmithie, right? It's like that Rengar game, that wasn't exactly what I wanted. And he did have a good start to that Rengar game, but then he started invading. He actually got picked off by Xmithie, and Mike Young was on that cast and couldn't stop talking about how Xmithie, just reading Dardoch there, was the game-changing play. So Dardoch definitely wants to have another go at Xmithie because he's kind of been a bit of his kryptonite so far this split.
Certainly feels like it here. It's Golden Glue getting aggressive there onto Pobelter, but Pobelter can hit level 2, and that's Cassiopeia for you.
No, that was so well. That was so well played.
It could be a solo kill if Golden Glue can't use those flashes. Does have a heal, but now has to burn up Pobelter. He's going to stay. The mana is low. Pobelter flashes in, gets the auto down, and almost dies to a turret shot bot lane though. Still active.
Spears.
Around. Piglet does get first blood. He is going to go down. Jarvan just a little late to try and save that first blood as Cody leaps in onto map with the Ignite down onto the level 1 Trist. going to force Cody away.
Yeah, Matt hit level 2 there, and it was just like, okay, maybe he'll be able to actually get something done. But Piglet being aggressive, we were talking about how they were smashing this bottom lane last time. Xmithy doesn't even get to level 3 there. He only does a level 2 route, comes down, and they start fighting, and he immediately augments his plan and starts moving towards it. But right here, Matt's actually got inside track.
That's Thunderlord's job, and though Dardoch already taking a massive amount of damage. Cody going to leave 41. Dardoch damage is dead.
He's dead.
Explosion touch should be enough to take him down. Xmithy gets double buffs out of the deal.
Yeah, guess you don't need to do your own blue if you get the enemy jungle's blue. But Xmithy, that was just, he's changing what he's doing based on exactly what his team needs at that moment. If he starts just going with, hey, I'm just going to complete my blue buff and keep going, that's fine. He moves here before the play even starts. That is such a damn good read by Xmithy. He says they're going to start being aggressive, and he reads Piglet here so hard that Piglet gets first blood, but he gives a kill back, and then he sticks around. That could hurt your jungle, but Dardoch doesn't react in time, finishes his own red buff first, and then goes into the jungle. And Xmithy's already hit level 3 off of the residual experience, off of the nearby camps going down, or the creeps in the lane. And they get that kill back. This is just showing the flexibility of the type of jungler that Xmithy actually is.
I think in general, I've been so impressed with Xmithy's gank sense. It almost always seems to be operating.
Yeah, and that's what was ridiculous about that. Like, when I saw that play and I didn't see the setup to it, I thought Xmithy was reacting to the fact that the play started and Piglet started getting spears in. But no, he read that that was going to happen and preyed off of the position of the lane and player tendency and took the blast cone in a position where Piglet started to go aggressive, and then he had to commit to going aggressive there and all in, or else he just dies for nothing.
Yeah, Wilson now has blue buff as well, so Golden Glue is in a world of hurt already.
That's
CS stacking up, winning on CS there for the Cassio, and even top lane going in. Flame happy to fight Lolo just a bit here. Dardoch trying to force, but he's got no flash. Kind of tricky to get in there as the Gragas.
Yeah, and also Xmithy there giving the blue buff over to Pobelter will put him at level 3 compared to level 4 in the jungle. So Dardoch is caring about that experience for himself mostly.
Goodbye,
but
Golden Glue.
Yeah, he's still got flash.
I mean, he's going to get chased down by
Storm Raiders.
Looking for it. All right. Just barely misses out on dying. My calculations were slightly off.
Yeah. But he still got the flash out of him. A Pobelter did not continue the chase there with the Storm Raider surge.
That's a classic caster curse, really. He's dead. Oh, he's alive. As Dardoch takes a Scuttle Crab away.
That takes me back. There's like some montage of, what was it? I think it was D-Man, just Joe Miller calling people dead. They're not dead! It happens to everybody.
Certainly does. Well, Golden Glue stays alive, but just barely as the Immortals continue to leverage their almost 1,000 gold lead at the very early stages. TL will be happy to have gotten first blood, but last few things have not gone their way. We'll see if the junglers keep playing as aggressive as they have been.
Yeah, and I feel like the big part here is this mid lane with Pobelter. You pick the Lucian on Golden Glue's side to be aggressive, to be up in their face. And Pobelter played it incredibly well if we went back and watched that level 1 to level 2, where he auto-attacks a creep, finishes it off to hit level 2, and immediately levels up Q, hits Q on the Lucian, and chases Golden Glue down the lane. And that's just a small thing of Golden Glue not knowing exactly how much experience Pobelter needed to get to level 2 himself after Golden Glue had hit 2 and went aggressive. And that's just showing Pobelter knows how to punish people in lane. And that's why it's a CS lead on this counter pick that he got, which is not 100% of like a very hard counter. Right?
No, I think in general,
a lane counter, yeah.
Happy to farm up. Golden Glue, though, every time he gets poisoned, just really can't walk towards Pobelter. So far, so good. 10 CS and counting there in the mid lane. Xmithy might be up for another visit. And sneak around that patch of vision, and
I don't think he got spotted.
Gonna go all the way around. Not seen yet, but Golden Glue kind of hugging that turret. Xmithy instead gonna maybe try and find Dardoch.
And you can see what happens is Pobelter starts playing to the left side slightly. Flame had lane priority because he pushed Maokai all the way to his turret, and now they go invade, and they also had Tracker's Knife wards to go ahead and lay down. So full coverage of this topside jungle. Dardoch will walk in it now, and he has no other jungle to clear, right? His wolves are gone, his Romp is gone, everything's gone on this side. So now you can read Dardoch and say, what's he going to do for the next minute? He's going to try to look for a gank, but you see him coming.
See Xmithy actually already with that Cinder burning away, so very efficient jungle clear. Be ahead of Dardoch in that respect until he goes back and spends his money. Back in the bottom side there, although never mind, as a bait is being set here, but I think Dardoch might have gotten spotted rounding that corner. Golden Glue just has to burn ulti and kind of, that's about it. Pobelter's going to play back and say, hey, enemy junglers here. Other lanes, do what you want.
Yeah, and it looks like Golden Glue wants to back and push the wave out, but they're actually going to go aggressive.
Pobelter with a 1v2, but Xmithy here just in case. Dardoch, he's going to be the next target. Walks through the miasma for a bit of extra poison. Pobelter still going at the EQ. Not quite enough. The last auto not there. Dardoch forced to flash again, though.
And that was Pobelter pulling Xmithy towards him because they were trying to break a freeze and not let Pobelter freeze the lane. And now he'll get another lane to shove out, just another wave here, and put Golden Glue on a worse back timer. It's these small optimizations that are showing just the difference between like a 7th place and 1st place team.
I mean, we're getting out of the way of that at this point. Pobelter is almost 30 CS ahead as Xmithy just takes the blue in front of Dardoch, who did have it warded.
Yeah, and you could see where Olay positioned himself towards the Tri-Brush during that time and let Cody-san kind of just sit in the lane by himself. He did hit 6, so he would have the Buster Shot and be okay, and Piglet didn't have 6 himself to try and go for a Fate's Call play. So just kind of taking a lot of things into consideration when they make these movements so that they can't be punished as heavily.
Yeah, looks like Pobelter going to keep moving forward on the mana items. Catalyst now finished. I assume Rod of Ages is going to be the build. Haven't seen a lot of different Cassio builds, but yeah, this seems to be the most staple one.
I mean, when you are 25 CS up over your lane opponent, 9 minutes in, I mean, you can go for the scaling build, and you're just basically paying off exactly what happened in the early game. You're just kind of cashing in at that point.
Rest of the lane's very safe here from Immortals also. Cody nice and even on CS despite all the early scuffling in the bot lane, and Flame had priority and is actually up 10 CS as well. Able to leverage his advantage in Shen versus Maokai.
And even the bot lane advantage in terms of the Zyra versus the double range bot lane, like Zyra should be the bully in most cases here, but because Piglet died early and the Zyra died early, Cody-san's actually stayed up in CS slightly. And when I talked about the draft, TL were kind of looking for an aggressive jungler in terms of playmaking ability, but then also having a mid and a bottom lane that are winning, and now top lane, they're trying to make a play.
Does get rooted after the flash mat there as the rest of the lane's rogue draft here. Flame is going to fall to Piglet. Nice play from TL.
And this is the macro play they're trying to make. TL were hoping to make this play after something like the bottom turret goes down, but because they have lane pressure bottom, they're able to rotate top, they get themselves a kill, and they'll get themselves first turret. And I don't think that Immortals are really too much into position here just yet. Actually, that's a bluff by Xmithy. They weren't there just yet.
Yep, Pobelter, though absent from his lane, was walking up the river.
Yeah, and you can see how he's edging forward. He's actually not committing too hard just yet.
You can see
now they're going to go.
Cancels the back, it's 2v3 right now. Ole moving in, but flashes in to help Shen move forward. Floor low, he's going to go down. No, Ole actually falls first as there's the taunt landing on. Pobelter able to get that first kill. Matt goes down as well. A 2-for-1 there in the top lane.
Oh, Dardoch throws out the cask, and it pushes Flame over to where Matt was. So, it's actually going to be first turret here, possibly, for Immortals. We'll see if TL is able to stop this.
Just done with a cannon wave. Seems good, but Dardoch actually getting a double knock up there. Piglet going to maybe get more aggressive. Doesn't have Matt to throw in there.
Yeah.
After dying in that last engage. And things will settle down ever so Bluefield. Golden Glue has gone on quite the adventure.
He's hiding. Where are you at?
How long can he hide for? Puts a ward down.
It up. I think he's going to stop, yeah. He's missing too much CS to the turret. He's got to stay up. So no first turret for either team here. So Xmithy kind of bluffed there with when he showed himself because Tristana was very far back in the lane and then actually doesn't get the interrupt there onto Kalista, but doesn't matter. And then Flame comes through. Doesn't have to really rely on anything like Flash there and gets the help from Dardoch to reposition towards Matt, which is not expected at all from the TL support.
It looks like they've actually kind of fully swapped his lanes now as well. IMT still struggling a little bit, but overall almost 1,500 gold ahead for Immortals.
Yeah, they're in a really good position. Xmithy, 100% kill participation alongside Cody-san. So far, it's just been these macro moves. TL tried to make one of their own right there, and it wasn't a hard enough commit to the turret to take it down, but at the same time, it wasn't really a hard enough commit to the fight either to get something back. So now we just have Australian lanes pastry.
My favorite. Upside down. This Cody is just going to clear this out. Piglet and Matt again really hammering this turret. Almost got it in that last push in the first swap, but going to have to work a lot harder to take it now.
Yep, Xmithy's actually invading. He's spotted here. He's going towards where the blue buff is, but we'll see what happens. It's a little bit risky since teleports could be matched, and he's not going to do the same type of play. You can tell, based on lane priority, they don't have priority top. They didn't really have too much mid. It was kind of like Pobelter was beginning to shove Golden Glue in. But because you don't have it top, you get collapsed on by a Zyra Kalista. It basically makes it a play that completely backfires. Right now, TL kind of just need to play safe and just keep this pace right now where things aren't getting much worse here. Get that turret eventually on the top side, but everything else is just, if you keep these like 10 to 20 CS deficits and advantages for you across the board, you're in an okay spot. But I feel like they do need to accelerate the tempo eventually with their engage, because Cassiopeia and Tristana will scale so much and they'll be able to shred these tanks.
Well, a nice show of pressure there from Dardoch in the top lane, able to make sure that turret falls. See if IMC can answer, because that gold is actually back to even now that TL have gotten that extra gold from the first turret. Pobelter continuing to play aggressive. Golden Blue with a Hex Drink is a lot tankier than he would have been otherwise, but you can just see how dominant Pobelter is in this lane again. Dirty CS ahead, and that Rod of Ages is already finished and stacking up.
Yeah, it does really hurt his damage, though, when he has the Hex Drinker. So Golden Glue not being able to kind of move towards a more aggressive build. This is a defensive don't die, and if you're losing your middle turret and having it taken a half HP, and that is really big, because the wave clear on this composition of TL is not very good. You're kind of relying on the Lucian. That's where you're going to fall flat when you try to siege and try to close the game out if you have an advantage. But right now, Immortals had to keep Cody Sun top, keep that wave kind of equalized so you can shove it back, like you were saying, get something back for Immortals. But they also make a play to get damage mid. So Immortals kind of control the top half of the map now. They'll get the top turret and just get this back, and now they can start focusing on the mid turret and try to get that. So it's a good setup for Immortals to move around the map.
Yep, just great recognition of kind of where they've got tempo advantage. TL looking for a dive. This is another great play, actually. Looking to counter here in the mid lane. Dardoch threatening Pobelter, who's 1v4. Can't do anything right now.
Yep, and you saw where Pobelter was playing there, playing on the top side of the lane. Well played there so he doesn't get body slam flashed. No vision really of Dardoch at that moment, but knew that he had vision of his own left side jungle, and there's no way of plays being made there. So we kind of take it into consideration, and I'm just putting these players under a microscope because we're ending like the season in a few weeks. So I'm really just kind of looking at, hey, what are these small optimizations these teams are making that put them at the top of the standings over others?
Oh man, Zyra Plan's causing some problems for the wave, but Cannon is going to fall down. Cody with alone time on the turret, though, able to take that down. So not really an equal exchange, but TL doing well to keep the turrets even, as Immortals do manage to get two in the top lane. Their play for mid was thwarted by Team Liquid, and now Piglet's back down here, getting something going for his own teams. He gets this bottom outer turret to about 60% health.
Yeah, and Cody Sun with that push to the tier 2 top is actually crazy, because it was a slow push back from him after TL took that top tier 1 turret, the first turret of the game, and they were able to just keep going and stop a play mid while simultaneously getting their own on the top side. And that's really just a great play from Immortals in terms of, hey, we're making sure that you can make your play, but not to the full extent that you want, as we're making our own. So it wasn't just a play to counter, it was one to make your own play at the same time, even when you're on the back foot in terms of tempo. I really like those types of plays.
Just a smart swap back now as well from Immortals. The Shen is back towards that top lane. There's a Drake up for grabs. It is the first one of the game. Mountain is available on Immortals again, knowing they've kind of got a bit more space than TL right now, kind of leaning on that small gold advantage they do have. Flame can come down at any moment. He's pushing the lanes out with a Tiamat, so Dragon is theirs. And if we are going to play some sort of a siege game here in the mid game, Immortals going to be very happy with that Drake.
Oh yeah, Immortals right now, they're trying to pick off Cody Sun, but how many people?
Oh, that's a lot, but the root is there. Knockup is going to land with the shield, and the Lulu ulti might keep him alive. Piglet forced to burn his own off, but it's a 4v2, and TL are still fighting. Lawler going to try and even those odds back up as Ole is going to fall to Piglet. Malkayok creeping towards the rest of Immortals, but Xminty gets boosted away by Dardoch's ultimate after flashing past the cast. Immortals, though, are forced to back off here. TL going to try and answer with the turret.
Great choice of words, Pastry. Gets pushed away there.
It's a damage boost. Like a Metroid. You guys ever seen the speedrun?
All right, no time to talk about that now. Turret's going down again. And now TL will have that turret advantage and gold advantage now after that play that they sat around in a bush to try and making sure one doesn't happen back to them there.
Yeah. Not there from TL to kind of check all the boxes, but still going on the overall shove. Cody, though, should be able to defend this. Infinity Edge was completed after taking that tier 2 turret in the top lane, so a good bit of gold as IMT. Try to force you, but TL do react well.
Yeah, and this Kalista for Piglet allows Piglet to kind of have no say over how much damage we're going to be doing, how much we're going to be re-engaging. Just throw Matt in. Doesn't matter too much there, but it does get a little closer. Gets the spears out, kills Olay. And then Xminty with the flash there after Dardoch. Yep. Whoa. Yeah, TL, Maokai, like you said, Maokai pretty disgustingly powerful right now. And that ultimate able to keep a lot of people locked up and even stop the disengage completely for a bit.
Yeah, you can kind of see that top and bot lanes have evened out as far as overall farm goes. Flame is still up on Lolo, but Lolo with a nice team play should have got a decent amount of gold as the scorelines are equalized. It really is just this mid lane where struggles are happening as Pobelta continuing to bully Golden Blue back and forth in this lane. He's 40 CS ahead and building in towards that next big item. Looks like Seraph's is second there as IMT continuing that run of pressure, able to take down that bottom outer. Equalize those turrets once again, and you can see just how low the mid turret there is for TL. I don't think they can confidently say that they're going to hold on to that in these next few minutes. Still, gold is even, so...
Yeah, but the bottom push. The bottom push right now. That's the thing that you have to worry about, because this Tristana has a Mountain Drake, has a decent amount of damage to these turrets. And you also have a Jarvan here who just walked through the bottom jungle and said there's nobody here. They're going to siege bottom turret and maybe trade Rift Herald for it, but at the same time, it's just a better play from Immortals here.
Yeah, kind of a tough one to set up as well. Rift Herald very late into this game. Going to be secured easily by Gragas and Kalista. Well, we'll see if TL can actually get a turret out of it. They've got 4 minutes now to try and make something happen. IMT continue to shove down this bot side, and that turret is very low.
I feel like there's 2 turrets right now that possibly go down. If you try to defend both, you might lose both. So Pobelta threatening mid, whereas simultaneously bottom the Tristana as well as the Lulu will threaten that one. And now you play between both and only put as many people as you need to get it. Pobelta. Oh, gets
back
hot.
in, but yeah, Data can't follow up. It's Smithy there to make sure everything was a-okay, and IMT had already backed up to that bot side. So smart from TL to rotate back up, maybe try and get a pick off with that turret falling, but I'll hold on to it for now, as it looks like Cody going to go back, and that's most of his first Energizer item now completed. That Shard and the Zeal now complete, now done.
Yeah, and Knight's Vow for Smithy, just full protection here for him.
Good guy, Smithy.
Yeah.
Always there for his team.
I mean, he's 3-0-1, and I feel like I personally, as a tank player, am still a very selfish tank player. So when I look at Smithy, who's very active early, pretty much gives everything to his teammates, including the gold he gets very early on. Like building a Knight's Vow here, a lot of people would say, all right, let's go for something else, something that's a little more selfish. Black Cleaver, even just building more towards damage, or even a selfish tank item, right? But Smithy just really has the game, the big picture in mind most of the time. And that's something that I think even Olay talked about in one of his interviews. So let's roll on. Catch on the Cody. Interrupt there.
Gotta find him. Forced to flash away. Lulu ultimate also expended, but TL with no further follow-up. Cody definitely has kind of a lot of get out of jail free cards here, but has to make sure not to get trapped.
I had to make sure that if you're putting a lot of eggs in that basket, that the basket is, completely locked down. Make sure nobody can get in that basket. Just make sure Cody's son can't get caught.
Well, okay for now, but again, still kind of scaling up. Piglet on the other side does have 2 items already finished, so he is team fight ready at this stage on Kalista. Does feel like still the advantages, despite the gold lead being quite even, are there for Immortals. I mean, Pobelta in any lane right now is pretty much capable of a 1v1.
Yeah, he's
He'll
40
only
CS.
get stronger as that goes on.
Yeah, 40 CS up, 10 CS a minute. He's doing really well for himself on this Cassiopeia. And we talk about scaling. I feel like at this point you just talked about, hey, they've done it incredibly well for this mid lane Cassiopeia. We're past that point where you can kind of get to her early and shut her down. It's like, no, she's tanky now because she has the Rod of Ages. It's stacked up. She's got some Dark Seal stacks. She's already working towards her 3rd item, whereas Golden Glue has like 1.5, not even boots 2 just yet. He's very far ahead.
TL again, moving Piglet mid lane. Going to get these lanes shoving out. Golden Glue kind of left with the scraps in top lane.
But looking at the gold overall, Piglet actually has the most gold in the entire game right now. He's 1,000 up, hasn't spent it yet though, over Pobelter. So Piglet, once again, this is, Piggy's getting fed. Make sure that he can actually carry a game. This Kalista will have a difficult time getting in, but once he gets in, he's going to try to skirt these fights. It'll be hard. We've seen Piglet have those games where he does have a lot of the kills, and then it's very hard for TL to convert.
Smithy trying to chase down Piglet, actually going to commit with the Shen ultimate as well. Going to jump in, flash after the ultimate, and actually got interrupted there for Flame, I assume.
Yeah.
Now it's a 2v2, and Piglet's the big one here. Ultimate expended onto Smithy, but Dardak nails the cast this time around. Cody Sunder's finally
what?
This fight's gone on a long time as that Darviniku didn't quite connect. Lolo trying to get in there, does root up at Smithy and commit that ultimate. Going to look to chase down Cody, but he dodges the rest of the Brambles. Matt for the knockup as the Buckstrong committed a bit of root. He's going to fall into the Stranglehold. Cody Sun knocked up and killed by Piglet as he rends it out. And now Pobelta left out to dry. Goes down.
They're going to Rift Herald here. They might be able to Baron afterwards, and TL catching Immortals off guard.
Nice play there from TL again. Reacting very nicely to the aggression there from Immortals. Man, Baron certainly on the table.
I was talking about Piglet. This is one of those games that basket for them is also secure. Piglet 6 kills. They put a lot of eggs in there already.
All right, Ole. Level 1 Q. Nope, not gonna try.
Oh, come on.
The spirit of Bloodwater will not be remembered today. Instead, it's Team Liquid able to secure that Baron.
That was 8 HP. Could have done it. Still, TL though. 2,000 gold advantage, have the Baron now. And this was Xmithie as well as Ole and Flame being incredibly aggressive, but Morlo has his bros there, interrupts it. Xmithie, this EQ to try and get back in onto Piglet, the one that misses here because he's polymorphed, he won't be able to get out of the way, doesn't even connect and pull him forward, which would have pushed the battle line back, but it doesn't matter too much because the Maokai was entering anyway. And then I love how Matt gets in there, Piglet throws him in, and they're able to take out both of the carries on Immortals, leaving just the support in the top laner.
Instant flash forward there for Piglet as well, just making sure he ended with that triple kill. See just how much damage Piglet was able to dish out in that last fight, and it was not a very fair one. Pobelta tried valiantly.
But like you can see how long Piglet was actually wailing on Xmithie there, and how long it took him in kind of like a 2-on-1 or 2-on-2 to get to that damage number, whereas Pobelta entered the fight, and so did Cody Sun near the end, got CC'd for a large portion of it, and they still did that much damage each. You have to keep them locked down. You have to start snowballing this game with this Baron buff that you have on TL's side, or else it doesn't get too much better than this point.
Well, card joke over to Team Liquid, only 2 so far taken in this game. But TL going to equalize that objective. Still with the Baron buff for a little while, so we'll see if TL can continue extending this lead or if it's kind of flatten here at 2,500 gold. It looks like Siege started mid, and that turret's low, so pretty likely contender.
You also have a Maokai ultimate. If you want to use it to push people off of turrets or even start a fight, you can. Right now, it's just kind of going between 2 turrets. They want to be able to push mid with the Maokai, push bottom with the Lucian, and go back and forth between them, depending on what damage they can get at what time. Pobelta, they're going to return damage on the Golden Glue as Lorlo pushes up mid, and he'll have that turret take a decent amount of damage here. Xmithie is there. He's their primary engage aside from the Shen, so you don't have to worry about anybody on the bottom side getting picked off here. And they're looking right at Cody.
Cody again going to maybe get caught out here, but everyone's defended, but not enough to protect him. Piglet now dominating, gets yet another kill.
Picked over the wall, Cody's son. Talk about his consistency. The eggs are cracked, man. They got in there.
All over the rift, starting to bake. Omelet incoming. Ooh. So if you're hungry, that's good news, but TL happy to feast here as they're going to break into that mid lane, take down the turret, and this inhibitor should fall with it.
And TL using that Baron buff, just keeping the pressure on. We've seen TL get thousands of gold advantages. We've seen them at 10,000 gold advantages. The game is never over till it's over for them, but this is a very hopeful start for them.
Certainly is, looking good as they get almost pretty much maximum value really out of that Baron. Breaking the base is kind of the gold standard for your first Baron, and that's exactly what they achieved. Immortals going to have to play very well to maneuver their way back to an even game state. And again, they've got good tools to do it. They've got great late game team fighting. Cody is working towards item number 3, and Pobelta shouldn't be far away from his, but Lolo's getting tanky. Even Golden Glue's starting to pick up those items, and again, it's Piglet with all the strength. Exactly.
Piglet is 7-1-0. He's the one who has most of the gold on the team. If you can get to Piglet and kill him, then you can pretty much play the team fights out from there. But also Flame at the same time hasn't really prioritized too much in terms of defensive stats just yet. Now he's gone towards the Thorn Mail. He's almost there, but he's got pieces of 2 different items as well as the Titanic, which was completed as his first item to help him split push. But that's not how this game has gone. It has not been about the split push or the turret pressure on the side lane. It's been more about protecting your carries who had a good start to the game, but now you're seeing it way more in favor of TL right now in terms of the Callista is definitely off the ground.
Well, Baron buff is about to shake off, so we'll see if TL can, with their now Baronless team, continue to extend that lead. Golden Glue hunting off to the side, but he's going to rotate down as looks like Liquid are set up here on the bottom half of the map. Remember, Pobelter is on super minion killing duty right now, so it's going to be tough for him to get in the mix. TL know that they're happy to threaten just one lane at the moment, actually. Quite see where Lolo is guiding the minions into mid.
Yeah, it's interesting that he doesn't even elect to go top right now. Says there's more pressure with the Maokai being flanking. He's walking in from behind. He has the ulti. He's trying to push him off. And this is just more pressure than if he was on the top side of the map now. So he's going to help push these minion waves in and threaten a side flank. And I love this from Lorlo because it gives them space for the rest of the team to possibly walk up. He will eventually have to back and try to deal with Flame, or they make a play and pull Flame up here via TP, via whatever they can. There's Maokai ulti, looking for something.
Forcing him away. Smithy may have sacrificed himself as the ulti up from Matt. Gonna look to knock him up. Does connect as Lolo gets the root back in. A nice ult from Dardoch to knock him back in, and Piglet going godlike.
And Dardoch, I mean, he's wanted a piece of Xmithy all split long. You saw the 0-3 in terms of the game score. This might be his first one of the split. Get revenge for last week.
Well, TL still pressuring. Big wave built up from Immortals, but they've got other problems right now. As TL look to use their man advantage for that 20 extra seconds and try and knock down this turret. Flame taking heat there. TL not quite able to get on top of it. Kalista isn't the best siege champion. Cody's able to wave clear pretty effectively with the help of Pobelter, so they'll keep their turrets alive for now, and TL will retreat.
Yeah, but a minute and 15 seconds on that Baron. They can reset, take the jungle, go to the top side of the map and start playing around that. Because there's a tier 2 that you can get on the top that TL are looking at. And Piglet will try to slow push this wave out as they simultaneously get control of the mid and the top side jungle where Baron is.
Yeah, that's kind of where they want to be anyway, so should be some pretty straightforward assignments here for TL. IMT again still dealing with the super minions in their mid lane, so Ole and Pobelter can team up for that task. I do like that Piglet, now with 3 items, does have a more complete. He kind of knows that Pobelter is the big threat in these team fights. Although Cody now with 3 items finished, can look to take down that Kalista as well, if he can safely get in range.
Yeah, Piglet's got level 15. He's doing really well for himself in terms of gold. 8-1-0. Only had 1 kill kind of taken away from him by Matt in this, one of those first early ones. But I definitely feel like hold on. I definitely feel like the Bramble Vest from Flame is going to be pretty big here in terms of shutting down Piglet. They're looking for a flank. There's
flash on the Golden Glue might be a kill, but all ulti expended. Pobelter looks for the flash on, doesn't quite connect it. Stranglethorns again, gets a good knocker, but Xmithy actually in the back line. He's going to try and dive into the carries. Cody finally arrives to the fight, and Matt goes down to Pobelter. Lawler with a very long flank, but it may be too late. Piglet just can't get in right now as Dardoch finally snares him up. Lawler is able to find out, and Cody just too far forward. Goes down to Golden Glue. Now IMT on full retreat. This TL looking to clean up some stragglers. Immortals will get away.
Yep, trading your 80 carry for the support. Not worth for Immortals, but that'll mean TL. They get complete control of this area like before, and they'll start this up. They have the Kalista, they have their jungler. Xmithy, is he going to try to steal this? Is he going to try to save another game?
Looks like the answer is yes, based on that positioning. Going to take the honey for it. Now TL know where he is. Oh, they trying to again. Flame again, looking for another taunt. Pobelter needs to be protected, but Golden Glue goes down. Olay!
Piglet
able to get that kill as Piglet trying to fight off Xmithy. Flame also in the front side as Pobelter. He's found Dardoch front line. He's evaporating there as they're on to Piglet. He goes down. Pobelter grabbing the shutdown on Immortals. May have found a way to turn the game all the way back around.
Triple kill for Pobelter. He was the one carry who was left up. And now Immortals back in it.
More than enough for that team fight. As Matt, he's back to try and steal the Baron, but he's got no chance.
We're back to even here. Baron apiece for the teams back in terms of the total. Man, this is just insane. So they approach. Flame has the TP flank. Pobelter has the approach from the side. They get Golden Glue here. Flame actually just walks up, taunts through as he wants to go aggressive. And then they pick up Golden Glue with just Olay's damage on top of Flames. And then Xmithy's keeping Piglet occupied, but they're slowly shredding everybody else around. And Piglet just doesn't have enough damage there. The Kalista is not that tank shredder. She's not that champion that's going to stack that crit. It takes a lot of time for her to really get those spears in. And the Bramble Vest is something that's going to shut her down. Even if you get the Maw HP back, if you get the HP from the Blade of the Ruined King, it's still going to get cut. And even if you're attacking somebody else, the the Runaan's Hurricane Bolts are going to apply the Thorn Mail to you. So you will apply that Grievous Wounds, and you won't be getting as much as you want. And look at that, you can just see the damage. Lorlo did more than Piglet.
I mean, on the contrary, you know, he is really good at treading tanks. Poor Adam
Cassiopeia.
Yeah, and Pobelta demonstrating that there. 5 kills now, so many items, and over 6,000 damage in a team fight. It takes some big health bars to do that much damage, but Pobelta was able to chew through the entire TL front line, and eventually Little Piglet.
Yeah, and he's going to have movement speed increases from the Whimsy, going to have the shield as well. So there's a lot of great things going for Pobelter in this game. He has defensive stats, he has also the shields to help back him up. And now he's looking at 5 kills, almost a Flame Horizon here for him over Golden Glue. And he was the highest level in the game for a moment there before Flame caught up.
And still 2 item slots to go.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
No boots. What's he doing?
Fast enough, it seems. As IMT kind of getting that Baron empowered push going. Cody guiding those minions into that mid lane. Flame playing the long game there on top, but that's a big wave coming for that turret as IMT take the tier 2 in mid. There's only inhibitor turrets to take right now.
And you can see this Xmithy just sitting on a ward. They kind of give away that he's on a ward though, and then they sweep it and pick it up. But right now, Flame pushing top, Cody pushing mid, rotating between all of the lanes, and they're just kind of milking this Baron buff in every lane.
Got more than enough time as Flame is finally onto a turret, so TL have to instantly respond. Lolo,
does he care
he's
though?
Trying very hard, and he's not doing very much. Flame respecting TL enough to back away with everyone else missing, but he's going to be right back to business as Lolo going to take so long to clear out Baron empowered minions.
And this team doesn't have Baron empowered minion wave clear. Like we talked about how it's physical damage heavy. Physical damage is not as effective against super minions. Super minions have the negative magic resistance, so you usually want a big mage with wave clear to deal with them. But that aside, even just the fact that these are just Baron empowered and not even super minions, their wave clear is low in the first place. It's the Lucian culling, it's a little bit Matt, maybe a barrel, but it's not like a Victor. It's not like anything from a static Shiv, Tristana even.
And Cody with all this protection, again, Lulu ulti, Shen ulti, and also Pobelta just kind of sit behind and let defend you with his ultimate as well. IMT just happy to play it slow. They'll know they'll crack at least 1 turret with the way this game is going. And they still have 40 seconds left on this Baron. He'll have to make a play pretty soon here as Cody getting aggressive for the turret. He will claim it. And now IMT can just move in. Trying to take down these inhibs. I mean, what is TL really going to do here? A 5v5 is not something they want to opt into versus a Baroned up IMT that have such good carries.
Yeah, and they even, speaking of itemization on this patch, Lorlo going for the Sunfire Cape, I don't particularly like it.
See if it helps him here. Trapped again into Miasma. Turret goes down, ultimate out. Not going to try and get the Stranglethorns happening. Pobelta soaks that damage with his shield as Flame. Flash is able to eat every other bit of damage. Cody firing back, trying to life steal back up as soon as possible. Flame can even TP back into this fight if it back doesn't get cancelled. Dardo making sure that happens. And it does seem like Immortals will only get 1 inhibitor, but top is open if they need it. Going to retreat for now, though. Not overextend, and you can see the turnaround that happened in this game. That was about as much damage as Pobelta did in that Baron team fight.
Yep. A lot of 6s in this game right now. Immortals, gold, TL also. But yes, it's been that magic number so far. Who's going to do 6,000 in the next?
I just want Pobelta to do the meme amount of damage.
Yeah, the meme amount. But on a serious note here, the Lorlo Sunfire Cape, I'm not so much a huge fan of the Sunfire Cape. It got changed a little bit. It's now Balmy Cinder, a Ruby Crystal, and a Chain Vest. So the build path kind of says, okay, build it first. That's fine. But I'm more a fan of things like Righteous Glory to help you engage. We're seeing so many Maokais in the top lane go for a Doran's Ring, Doran's Shield, and have that to kind of lean on for early HP, and then go for the Righteous Glory, which gives you all these stats that you really want as Maokai, and then building towards Spirit Visage. Because Righteous Glory here would give you a lot of options to flank, be respected when you walk forward, because now it's just this Maokai that has no surprise factor to it. You'll see everything he does coming, instead of kind of having to respect the Righteous Glory range.
And we've seen that Lolo just can't really soak that much damage at the point that IMT's carries are at. They have to catch them, but Pobelta with the Banshee is going to make that even harder as they push in again, but TL able to repel that. IMT trying to line it up with Flame, who's sitting in bot.
Yeah, and we're talking about Pobelter's items here, where he has that Banshee's Veil. He also has a Knight's Vow from Flame on him now. So it's double Knight's Vow for Immortals to keep their carry safe, to make sure nothing happens. It's actually Smithy who put his on Pobelter, and Cody Suns, I believe, has not been applied yet for Flame.
Yeah,
so
Flame
he'll do it when he enters.
A touch out of range. Currently pushing in the bot lane, but can make that pretty quickly as the ulti's down. And again, just kind of threatening, pushing minions into this turret and forcing Lolo to just hang out. I mean, that's really the best way TL can get a fight going as well. So Lolo not being there or being there late, having a TP or walk over does also kind of cost Team Liquid when trying to start some sort of team fight to keep themselves in this game. And Flame is just straight up ignoring Lolo at this point.
Doesn't care about it at all. Get whatever pressure you can, because Elder Dragon's coming up, Baron's up at 25 seconds. Giving your team room, pulling 2 people to deal with you, exactly what you need in terms of the space that your team gets.
I thought might even have gone them, but instead going to play back and force them out to an objective.
Looks like Elder. That's off on the side that Flame was on. An Elder Dragon steal also doesn't really get TL too much back in the game, to be completely honest. A Baron would be more catastrophic, so just bait the area, push bottom lane simultaneously. Don't care too much about the Baron. Let your super minion waves on mid and top both work for you. And I feel like Team Liquid are in a very difficult situation.
Yeah, there's a big lack of vision for TL as they move to their own jungle, but they know they have to try something here.
But what's going to happen is Immortals aren't actually going to bite. Smithy has a slight flank position. Flame is going to continue to push. Now TL are on a timer. That'll might panic them to do something, and that's exactly what's happening here. They're saying we have to pull Flame to us. Smithy's over the wall.
They've been funneled into the trap. TL fighting the Drake because they don't really know what else to do. Flame's just going to take the rest of the inhibitors. Matt flashes forward by Pobelter, but he flashes out of the way, stands out and moves in. Cody with a great butt struck. Keeps Piggle off of Mythic. Smithy finally dives and Stoneblades back into the pit. Pobelter ulti does miss Lolo as he W's under, but Matt is so low. It's TL. I just don't think they have the damage. Lolo finally going to fall asleep. Does get it. Smithy's trying to fight as best he can.
Oh, the shot. Cody's going up.
Cody jumps in, gets the shutdown, and they're going to look for the resets. There's one. There's the double.
Yes.
Make it 3 as the next kill falls down. And Golden Glue, he's the only one left alive for Liquid, but it's not gonna matter.
Yeah, Vault Boy can't hold this one down. It's gonna be IMT winning the first one.
Apocalypse has arrived. Flame just gonna guide the minions in and finish what he started. Golden Glue gonna try and get another kill, but Cody's gonna seal that one shot. Looking for the close that vault, not gonna happen here, but the turrets fall down. Cody gonna threaten, and Golden Glue can only watch as the Nexus crushes down into rubble. IMT gonna try and finish the ace, but not necessary. Instead, let us happily take game 1.
All business there from the mid laner of Immortals. Pobelter, stoic as ever, 6-1-3, and had a really good performance on that Cassiopeia. The laning phase, even from the level 2, where he played it into the Lucian. That was an incredibly solid performance there for the mid laner. There were some flubs there across the board for Immortals, but the way they got back into the game was off of TL being really aggressive onto a Baron call. They played it well to kind of counter it, but ultimately that as a #1 team, you don't want to be in that situation. You want to have control from the get-go. So Immortals, they'll be happy with the win, but I don't think they're going to be elated.
No, I mean, I don't think so either. I mean, maybe not the cleanest game, but still a very impressive call to actually get to that point in the first place. But we're going to throw it over to Dash and Mug to see what they make of that comeback from Immortals.
Thank you very much, Pastry. I'm surprised to have to say that it was a comeback from Immortals. Let me just start there. Again, we had a lot of questions coming into today about how Dardoch would, move back into his old organization of Team Liquid and go up once again against Smithy in the jungle. Actually, the 3rd time they've had to meet this season.
Shouldn't be possible.
As they were the subject of the trades at the beginning, the most talked about trade at the beginning of the split. I love how things come full circle. Let's take a look at Champions Select, though, because, Mark, I know you have some strong opinions on the way that Immortals has most recently been drafting.
Ole, great playmaking support, one of the best in the league, arguably. What better champion for him to end up on than Lulu? I don't understand that. There were a lot of playmaking support bans, and
yes.
I get that with the Bard, the Blitz, and the Thresh all taken out, some of his signature champions, he can play a Braum, some other stuff like that. Morgana, we've seen him play before, but by taking the Lulu blind early, it's a little bit of a pick away from that, something he has played, but it doesn't play to his strengths at all, and I'd rather have seen them take it a little bit slower. If he takes the Zyra, you can take the Lulu later, potentially. Either either way, I mean, that was one of the big problems, I think, as well as the fact that if you just look at Immortals since 7-14, their drafts have not indicated a good understanding of the meta, where they did not take Callista early on, they took the Trist instead, which Piglet can play either one just fine, so it's not a big takeaway. You do secure better late game, but then you're giving up the early game, and then no super tanks, none of this, the standard tank pick.
That's the thing that screams at me, just only because Xmithy is the Sejuani Gragas guy, right? So I feel like this is the meta in which he'd thrive. Now, again, they still come away with a victory, and he did have some intelligent jungle play early on in the game to get some advantages. Before we get to the gameplay, though, we did hear from Piglet on what he thought this series would come down to. Take a look.
지금 솔직히 인모탈스 보면은 올레가 캐리하는 거 아니면은 딱히 그렇게 무서울 게 없어 보이는 팀 같고, 올레가 돌아다니기 시작하면 모든 라인에서 다 영향을 끼쳐서 바텀 주도권 싸움이 좀 중요할 것 같아요.
I mean, I think this directly illustrates your point. Even Team Liquid themselves have identified that Ole is one of the most important members to Immortals' success. And so, again, why is he ending up on a champion like Lulu, recognizing that there are some, the fair amount of support bans? Why is he on a champion that doesn't allow him to be as impactful as he might want to be across the entire map, not just the isolation of his own?
Right, and not only that, in terms of, Lulu itself isn't a strong champion in terms of making plays, it also doesn't really win this lane matchup that easily. So if you want to get on the map, the first thing you need to do is find times that you can do that. With Callista taken away and the Zyra, it's really hard as a Lulu to go actually influence another lane.
It's also hard to influence other lanes when all of the action is happening around your lane itself, and that's where I think, again, Piglet got super fed in this game. We take a look at some of those kills. It was because they were forcing action down here. If we're going to be at your turret all game, then your jungler's going to have to respond, and you can't leave.
Yep, and you see Piglet very intelligently realizes his back is cut off, can't kite that one out, so he kites in, goes for the trade kill, picks up a kill there. TL keeps forcing down around bot side. They have another play up on the top. And then a lot of these were punished by Xmithy, who was matching this attention very well, and for the most part, they were having a lot of kills in this game, but they kept playing around Piglet early on. He kept finding kills, and at one point, even though TL was down a little bit, Piglet himself was 3-1.
Right, moving to 7-1 at one point, finishing the game with 8 kills, a few deaths. It wasn't enough, right? And so while we watch the remainder of these kills come through for Piglet, I think the important thing for us to identify next is why was it that Team Liquid couldn't propel themselves to victory with such a fed AD carry?
That's the kind of scary thing here, because you see how difficult this fight is for Immortals. Like, Ole is no longer another engage tool. Xmithy tried his best, but they got kind of interrupted, did not get the first engage off, and from there on, Piglet left to run wild through this fight, and it's one of those situations where if Ole had a playmaking champion, could he have impacted these fights? Probably.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, and honestly, this is a disaster at this point. You just got 3-4'd, TL grab Baron off that, and right after that play, they run up mid, and that's where we get to your point about, could they have, why did they lose the game? And it just came down to a mistaken shot calling where they did kill Cody some, but he wasn't a large threat, and they really kind of got outplayed in one small skirmish that let Pobelter run wild in the fight.
Let's take a look at it. We're heading to the Baron pit where most of throws happen in League of Legends. But here we have Team Liquid. Hey, they've got that advantage. They're looking to start the objective in a 4v4 at the moment, but Immortals is going to outplay this one. Take a look at Pobelter and the work he does in this fight.
And the big thing there was Flame got a taunt right onto Golden Glue as he tried to dash in and get follow-up on Dardoch's body slam. I'm not sure they would have had enough damage to chew through the Cassiopeia anyways, because they didn't have the Gragas displacement ult because I was using the previous fight. Either way, that lets Pobelter turn and just melt targets down one at a time. They also get a really nice CC onto Piglet, who was the big Fed member on Team Liquid, and as soon as they're able to finish him off, it's too easy to win the rest of that fight.
And again, if you take a fight near the Baron pit, the team that wins gets to turn directly onto that Baron. With a Cassiopeia, you can melt that one down. Look at that damage, 33k coming out of Pobelter in the mid lane as compared to 11k out of Golden Glue. So that's really where the majority of the damage swing is, because the 80 carries are neck and neck.
Right, and it was the whole game as well. Really early on, level 1, level 2, you saw Pobelter willing to go for those all-ins, almost getting the kills. Xmithy would come sometimes, multiple people roaming to the mid lane, trying to influence that one, but Pobelter put up a very staunch defense the entire time, because Lucian is obviously taken to stomp lane. Did not happen, and then come late game, the Cassiopeia is going to do way, way more.
Naturally, the Cassiopeia and Pobelter will be taking player of the game for this one. Again, being that damage source, they need to push themselves back into this game. But moving into game 2, what's your mental state on either side of the rift here? As Immortals, I gotta be concerned that this was even a game.
Yeah.
Again, we're the first place team up against one of the last place teams in that, we've got that tie for 7th. and it's this close a game, I'm worried.
That's the scary thing, just because they didn't look good last week in particular either. Really tough series versus FlyQuest, I believe it was.
Scraped through them.
Yeah, and here, once again, just a really scrappy first game that against a better team. This is a loss, most likely. If you're looking at the other top-of-the-table teams, if you fall 4,000 gold behind and give up a mid inhibitor, they're probably going to keep snowballing that game.
And for Liquid, it's heads up, right?
I mean,
look, yeah, you see, there's going to be a sting. There's going to be a sting to have taken the loss when you have the ability, right? When you have the tools to win. But again, in the context of the series, an expected loss against the #1 team, hey, we pushed them to their limits here. If we change a couple things, we might actually come away with W's.
I would agree for the most part if it wasn't for the fact that this was Team Liquid, who had 1 million people added to the roster, most notably Dardoch recently. And it's not the typical team where, you're the 4th place team and you lost a game to the 1st place team. And you're like,
Right.
oh, well, it was close. Maybe we tweaked some things. You're looking at, and I'm not sure the mental state of this team coming into the series. Matt was talking.
It didn't start up here. It's already down here.
Right. You heard Matt talking about like the never giving up mentality, but it wasn't said with much gusto behind it. It wasn't like, we're gonna do it, guys. It was a very low key statement. So I think if you're looking at what's CL's mental state, it's very hard to judge what's going to change from game to game, because I'm not sure where it's at the start of the day.
Well, they put up a good fight. When we come back, we'll see if Team Liquid can even up the series in Game 2 versus Immortals. Don't touch that browser.